Welcome to Learning Arduino for Beginners. Today we're going to take a look at the TEA5767 FM radio module. Now we're going to look at the basics on how to set this up and just get started using it. But if you're looking for a more advanced radio that you can build out of this, I will be doing another video on this. This here simply plugs in, the module plugs in right there. And this is, you can control the frequency, tune it with a rotary encoder. Has an LCD display screen. Has 3 buttons that are presets. You can add more. I will go over that in that video as well. And we're also have an amplifier. The amplifier just uses this little cable, plugs into the audio jack on the FM module, and then plugs into the input, and then it's stereo, so you put your 2 speakers off of that. And I can't remember, it's 15 watts each channel, so 15 by 2, or it's 18 by 2. When I do the video on this, I'll have all that information. But yeah, for today, we're going to take a look at just this. Oh, and also, I'll be putting a link down below. This comes with this little antenna. It's mounted right to it, so if you put this in an enclosure, it kind of makes it difficult. I also am going to be doing a video showing how to make this. It's an external antenna that's on, got a coax. This isn't just regular line or speaker wire or anything like that. This is, you're going to have to use coax, and it's got a telescopic antenna. That as well, I'll put a link in the description below once the video is up. But we're just going to take a look. Now I'm going to leave the antenna off. We're going to take a look at this module. Now right here is the actual FM tuner, and you can get those by themselves real cheap, but it's really small. And I mean, I've got years of experience soldering, and when I started trying to solder pins onto the one I'd first gotten, it started to split and come apart. So I think I paid like $1 for that module. I went, and this was like $2 something around there. I'll have a link in the description below where to get this. But I would go this route. It uses the same libraries as this. So, and it's the I2C communication. So, for this demonstration, we are going to be using an Uno to connect it. So let's get started. We'll need 4 jumper wires, male on one side, female on the other. So on the back side here, if you're holding it facing yourself so you can read it, the top pin here is 5 volt. The next pin's the SDA. The pin down from that is the SLC, and then we have our ground pin. I'm going to use green for ground, and I'm going to put that, let's see, that's that pin, the ground pin. Now I'm using in the corner here because this actually has marked an SDL and SDA. There's also, I'm trying to remember if it's A4 and A5, I do believe also connects to that. But on the Arduino Uno, it's got them up here, and it's got a nice convenient ground right next to it. So the pin next to the ground going up is the SLC, and that is our first pin here. The next is the SDA. Connect that. There we go. That is the second pin. And then there's a reference pin that's between the ground and the SDA and SLC. Make sure you don't get plugged anything into that. It'll mess things up, won't work right. Then last, we need to power it with 5 volts. So we'll put that in, and we have the in ground, and 5 volts right there. There you go. Now, you have here, this is where your antenna goes, and then the other one is the speaker. It's a stereo speaker. So your antenna goes in there. Get it pushed in. And this has a small amplifier built on board, so if you're using this with headphones, you would not need an amplifier like this. But you could also use this, one of these amplifiers. You just take the little extension cable here, plug it into the speaker, plug it into the amplifier, and you're good to go. All right, that's how we connect it up. Unfortunately, I cannot turn this on and tune a radio frequency in. Copyright issues. It does work. It does. And when I do the video on the more complicated one with the rotary encoder and LCD screen, I will be hooking up a transmitter I have that transmits on the FM band, and I'll get some of the royalty-free music from the YouTube Creator Studio that you can use without having any copyright problems, and I'll demonstrate it working on there. So make sure to check that video out. All right, well, this is all connected up. Next, we just need to plug it into the computer. And speaking of that, let's go over to the Arduino IDE, and I'll show you the sketch. So I'll catch you there in just a moment. Okay, I've got the Arduino IDE opened up here. So the first thing we're going to need to do is get and install the library that we are going to be using to control the FM radio. So for that, go up and click on Sketch, come down to Include Library, go over to Manage Libraries. It'll take this a moment to come up. Alright, then here in the search box, type in TEA5767. And you'll have two options that come up, unless between the time I've uploaded this video and you're watching it, maybe there might be another one included, but at this time there's only two. We want this one. It should be the one that shows up at the top. It's called the Arduino TEA5767 by Simon Monk. As you can see, I already have it installed. You would just click on it and install it. All right. Then once you have it installed, go under File, under Examples, scroll down until you find it right here, the Arduino TEA5767, and you've only got one option here for the demonstration that it comes with. Click on that, bring it up, and you can see this is a pretty easy, basic sketch. This is, like I said at the beginning, this is just to get you started with the radio, and if you're looking to then do some more advanced stuff afterwards, check out my other video, and you can find that in the description below. You can find a link to it. Unless you're watching this within the first couple of days of me uploading this, it will be a couple days before I'm finished with that. So what we're doing here is we're including two libraries. One here is our TEA radio library, and that's the one that we installed. Then we need the wire.h. Don't worry about that. That is already built in your Arduino IDE, unless you accidentally deleted it out of your libraries. It's a possibility. I've seen people do stuff like that accidentally. Then you would just go again under the sketch, libraries, manage libraries, and just search for wire.h and then reinstall it. Then right here is we're naming our radio device. We're just calling it radio. If you want to call it something else, maybe you want to call it TEA, just change that here, but then make sure anywhere that you have the radio, you are going to want to change that to whatever you put in here. In the void setup, then we're just starting the wire.begin, and we're doing a radio.set frequency. Now, in this library, that's the only option you have. All the audio controls and stuff like that, that's done externally out of the device. There is that other library you've seen. That is more complicated. That is for somebody that's more advanced in the learning of Arduino. I don't recommend that to start with. And you still have a lot of options. This is the library I use to build that radio. It has the rotary encoder to set your channel, the presets, all that. You can do all of that with just this library, just using the radio.set frequency. Then, of course, right here is where you'd put your frequency. Say, let's see, one of my local stations is 101.7. So you put that in there, and when you power your Arduino up, that station is what will be set, and then you just plug your headphones in. You're good to go. Like I said, this is very basic. This tutorial is just to get you started with it, get it connected, and then you can move on to some more advanced stuff. And there are other tutorials out there on doing this. I try to keep my ones in the Learning Arduino for Beginner series as simplified as possible. That radio I showed you at the beginning, that's more of an intermediate. It's not that difficult of a project, but you are going to need to know a little bit about Arduino to do it properly. All right, with that, there's nothing in the void loop, obviously. So with that, we'll go ahead and wrap this tutorial up. So I'd like to thank you for joining us here today. I hope you have a great day, and well, remember, have fun building.